Okay, let's solve this breakout. You had 4 locks, and the first one asks you to place the rational numbers in order least to greatest. So you would start with a -1 4/5, followed by -1 2/3, followed by 3/8. And then we had 2 improper fractions to decide between. 9/4 converts to 2 1/4. And 7/2 converts to 3 1/2. So if I'm putting those in order of least to greatest, I would be 9/4 and then finally 7/2. So now I'm going to put those into my locks. I'm going to go with the square followed by the circle, followed by the star, followed by the diamond, and then finally the triangle. And it let me break out. Awesome. All right, on to the next challenge. So you have exactly 4 hours to work on your brand each Saturday. This seems to be the most efficient way to manage your time. But how many minutes are left for emails? So if I look at 1/3 of my time is spent designing hoodies. 1/4 of my time is on marketing. And then 1.5 hours to fill orders. So 1/3 of my time, that's 1/3 of 4 hours. So that means I have, oops, made a mistake there. So times 4/1. So that gives me 4/3, which converts to 1 1/3. And we know that 1/3 of an hour is the same thing as 1/3 of 60 minutes. If I break 60 minutes up into thirds, that gives me 1 hour and 20 minutes. Next, 1/4 of my time, so 1/4 of 4 hours, that is just simply 1/4 times 4/1. It's going to give me 1 hour. And then finally, I was told 1.5 hours to fill orders. So if I combine all of that, I have 1 hour and 20 minutes plus 1.5 hours, that's 1 hour and 30 minutes. So if I combine all of that, I end up with 3 hours and 50 minutes. So that leaves 10 minutes for emails. Okay, so I'm noticing on this, I had to find the clue. You had to be really observant to notice that 10 minutes, if I look at the clock, there are letters. So the letters would spell 10. So that would be purple, followed by green, followed by blue. All right, so on your next block, you were having to look at profits. So it tells you in the clipboard that you have a net profit per hoodie of $15.75. So every time you sell one, you make $15.75. Your net profit to date is $40.15, and you have a goal of $276.40. Your question was, how many more hoodies do you need to sell? So the first thing I needed to do was take $276.40, my goal, and subtract what I had sold so far. And when I do that, I'm going to get the remaining profit that I am looking for, which is $236.25. Well, if I divide then $236.25 by the profit per hoodie, that's going to tell me how many hoodies I need to sell. And I'm going to get the answer of 15. Well, this is a letter lock, so if I spell 15 here, it will unlock the code. Okay, and finally, this was probably the most challenging portion of the breakout, which was really giving you a preview of what's to come in your next unit. You also had some equations to solve in the last unit of 6th grade, but we will be revisiting that in Unit 2. So this is kind of a preview of what's to come. So there's some information. It says here is data from your business's social media accounts. How much traffic is each site getting? So it tells you about a site called Bookface, Snapgram, and Giggle. And it tells you also some really important information that total views past month was 58. And then it gives you this order, which will be important later. I'm going to need to figure out how much views each site has when I know that the total between all three is 58. So if I look at this, I'm going to make a list. So I'm going to abbreviate. Bookface averaged 24.3 views more than Snapgram. So Snapgram more than means I would add 24.3. Giggle, just say G, averaged 14.6 less than Bookface. Well, if I look at Bookface, this is my expression for Bookface. It is Snapgram plus 24.3, but this tells me 14.6 less, so I'm going to now subtract 14.6. And if you will notice, I still only have 2 sites, 1, 2. So my third site is Snapgram, and I know nothing about that. So I'm just going to leave it as a variable. I'll just call it SG because I know nothing about that site. And when we know we have an unknown number in math, we give it a variable. So now I'm going to put all of these together into one equation. I know that the total for Snapgram, which is SG, plus Giggle, which is Snapgram plus 24.3 minus 14.6, plus Bookface, which is SG plus 24.3. So again, I have 1 site, 2 sites, and 3 sites. And all of those together give me a total of 58. All right? Now I have an equation I can solve because I only have 1 variable. So if I look at my like terms, this will be something that we use frequently coming up. I have 3 SG. I could also just think of that as 3X. And then I have 24.3 minus 14.6, which gives me 9.7. And then I also have another additional 24.3, which gives me a total of 34. So 3SG plus 34 equals 58. And I'm solving for the variable. So I'm going to now erase this because I have a much simpler equation now. And I can solve 58 is equal to 3SG plus 34. And to solve an equation, I'm going to isolate the variable. So I'm going to get rid of any addition or subtraction that happens first. To get rid of this positive 34, I need minus 34. And this is my additive inverse property, so that becomes 0, and I'm left with 3SG. So now to isolate my variable, this shows multiplication, so I'm going to divide, do the opposite. So Snapgram equals 24 divided by 3, which is 8. Okay? So I know Snapgram is 8. Now we're just going to evaluate for Snapgram equals 8. So I can go in and plug in where I see Snapgram. I can now solve 8 plus 24.3, which is going to give me my answer for that, 32.3. So that is my traffic for Bookface. And then to solve for Giggle, I know that it was book face minus 14.6. So 32.3 minus 14.6. And I get 17.7. So there are my three numbers that I'm looking for. And if you'll notice, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 values in my combination, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers there. I'm now going to use the graph. So my graph tells me that 3 is here, coordinates with C. So my 3 will be a C value. 2 is B, and then 3 again. And then 8 is the letter H. 1 is A, and then 7 coordinates with the letter G. So my combination should be C, B, C, H, A, G, and G. And that is it. And you will have broken out of this challenging breakout. Good job, guys. I hope you have a great fall break. And we will talk in a week. All right, bye.